Chapter 42-24. Yeah, I'm a father now, Rick said. Cece then smiled sweetly. Where's the baby? Why isn't she back yet? Don't worry. There are 3 adults watching over the baby. Your parents and sister are all there. They said they're going to clean the sticky stuff off the baby and they'll bring her back soon. I'm not worried. My parents are so happy. Speaking of which, our daughter is so dirty. When the doctor asked me to look at her and kiss her, I didn't like her. Recalling the situation in the operating room, Cece smiled. What kind of mother are you? She's only here for the first day and you already dislike her? She's so dirty. Oh, honey, I think she looks like a little monkey. Do you think she'll grow up to be a monkey? Oh my God. I can't imagine it. Cece whispered. Rick, she looks like a hairy monkey with a lot of hair on her ears. What should I do? Will she be like this in the future? How can she get married? Rick, okay, don't talk nonsense. The baby won't be happy if she hears it when she comes back, Rick said with a straight face. She's so young. Can she understand our language as soon as she's born? Aren't you too pretentious as a father? Cece thought Rick's reaction was super funny and cute. Does it hurt? Rick held Cece's hand tightly. Men could never give birth to children for women, so they didn't know the pain of childbirth. A doctor once compared the pain of natural childbirth to 12 broken ribs at the same time. Most people couldn't bear it, especially now that the standard of living was high, everyone was eating and drinking well, and children were growing up. It was easily more than 8 kilograms. It was not easy to give birth to such a big child naturally. Therefore, more and more young mothers chose to perform a C-section. Although it saved them the pain of labor, a C-section was still a way to kill the goose that laid the golden eggs. It would still hurt them greatly and leave a hideous scar on the belly. Therefore, being a mother was not easy. Rick wasn't good with words, but he knew how hard it was for Cece. It doesn't hurt. Maybe the anesthetic from the painkiller pump hasn't worn off yet, so I'm fine. Cece smiled. She felt much more energetic after giving birth. Then, she suddenly thought of something and said, Give me your phone. I want to post it on my moments. No, it's bad for your eyes. I'm just playing for a while. I'll put it down once I'm done. No, why don't you tell me and I'll post it for you? Rick was very careful to protect Cece because Cece's mother said that Chinese women should not be careless during their confinement period. He had to be carefully nursed for an entire month. If not, there would be a lot of complications in the future. Rick had really taken this matter to heart, so he was much stricter with Cece. Seeing Rick's tough attitude, Cece stopped being stubborn. All right. Then help me send it. Did you take a picture of the baby just now? Yes. Then send out a photo and write, My daughter, 6 pounds 8 tails. Mother and daughter are safe. Is it over? Rick, what's with that expression? It's okay, I'll send it now. Chin Chu picked up Cece's phone. Honey, don't forget to take a picture of our daughter. Cece reminded him. She's so young. Does she need a picture? Rick didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Of course, I want our little princess to be beautiful from a young age. At this moment, Cece suddenly thought of something. If only Sister Mion's child was still alive. Maybe she would have given birth to it with me. Then, our daughter could marry their son. Chapter 42-25. Chin Chu was here and just left. He's not in a good mood. Don't mention it in front of them. You're just rubbing salt into their wounds. I know. I won't say it in front of them. I'm just complaining to you. Yeah. Although Chu didn't say it, he must be feeling terrible. The couple felt especially heavy when they talked about Chin Chu and Huamian. At this moment, the door opened and Cece's mother walked in with the baby in her arms. Cece's sister and father followed behind her. The 3 of them took a lot of things. Xianxia, go and get the baby some milk. How much? The doctor said 30 milliliters is enough. Do you have water? Dad, didn't I ask you to boil water? Nie Lingxian was inexperienced and was flustered. I've already boiled the water. It's always at the same temperature. You can just use it. Cece's mother walked to the ward with the baby in her arms. Let me see her. Cece couldn't help but want to take another look. You can see her every day. There will be plenty of opportunities. The most important thing for you now is to rest well. Cece's mother cared about her daughter and kept telling her to rest. But I'm not sleepy. I'm tired. Let me see my daughter. Cece's mother walked up to Cece with the baby in her arms. Is she asleep? Cece asked in a small voice. Yeah, she's a good girl. She just cried and fell asleep. She didn't cry in the shower just now. Cece's mother couldn't bear to let go of the baby. By the way, have you named the baby? Cece's father asked this question. Cece looked at Rick. You tell her, Rick said slowly. The baby's English name is Kristen, but we also want to give her a Chinese name. She'll have the same surname as her mother. Hearing this, Cece's family was stunned. Cece's father was obviously flattered. It's great that she has the same surname as us. Xianxia smiled. Dad, say something. Are you happy? Cece stuck out her tongue playfully. I'm so happy. It's our blessing to have our granddaughter share our surname. Cece's father grinned. Rick continued. I heard that in the North, there's a custom about naming. If the parent's name is 3 characters, the child's name should be 2 characters. Yes, there is such a saying. My name is Nye Tao. I have 2 daughters. One is Nye Lingxian, and the other is Nye Lingxi. In order to prove this statement, Cece's father even used himself as an example, which was extremely cute. Rick smiled and said, That's why I'm planning to give our child the surname Nye. Have you decided what to call it? Nye Lingxian asked eagerly. Lying on the bed, Cece said proudly, Rick gave me this bright mission. We've already decided that if we have a boy, we'll call him Nye Chen, and if we have a daughter, we'll call her Nye Jean. Jean? Cece's sister was stunned. Yes, it's from our Chinese idiom, a fine day like a brocade, Cece said proudly. Wow, it's so nice. I'm satisfied. Cece's father laughed heartily. Our Cece didn't study for nothing. She's good. Cece's mother was full of praise. Nye Lingxian said with a smile, Sister, it seems that for this good name, you should have a second child. You must have a son named Nye Chen. You're thinking too much. I don't want another one for now. 10 months of pregnancy is too hard. Mom, did you suffer like this when you gave birth to me and my sister? Cece leaned her head against her mother's chest coquettishly. In our era, medicine wasn't as advanced as now, and we didn't eat as well as you. When you were born, you both weighed more than 5 kilograms. I thought you couldn't survive. Cece's mother was touched when she recalled the past. Honey, her name is Little Nye Jean. What's her nickname? Cece looked at Rick. Dad, you can come up with a nickname for the child. Rick respected the elders and handed the task to his father-in-law. Chapter 42-26. Hearing Rick's words, his father-in-law was pleasantly surprised. Is this okay? Dad, since they've asked you to give them a name, why don't you give them a name? Cece's father smiled honestly. When I lived in the countryside with your grandparents, I often heard people say that it's easier to raise a child with a casual nickname. Are you going to call her something like Tsue Hua, Winter Sweet, or Little Sweet Potato? Nye Lingxian had already begun to imagine. Cece, Rick, that's impossible. Why would I give my granddaughter such a terrible name? Cece just said that the child's official name is Nye Jean. Then I'll give her a nickname, Little Jean. Dad, you can't give her that name. You're obviously being opportunistic. Nye Lingxian looked at her father with a smile, thinking that he was extremely cute at this moment. Sis, don't make things difficult for Dad. Okay, I think it's really nice. What do you think, Rick? Yes, I like it too. Rick nodded. Thus, the little girl's name was decided just like that. Rick was extremely excited. He took out his phone and posted on his WeChat moments. He wanted to show off, but he thought about it. He was a mafia boss. It was inappropriate to show off so openly. After all, he had many enemies. In order to protect Cece and her mother, it was better to keep a low profile. Moreover, he didn't have many friends on WeChat. It seemed that only Chin Chu was on his WeChat moments. If he posted it, wouldn't it hurt Chin Chu again? However, Rick was really excited. He even excitedly called his confidants in the United States and even the cook at home. He said to everyone he met, "My daughter, Jean Christine, weighs more than 6 kilograms. She's a little cutie." This was probably the most high-profile moment in Rick's life. He suddenly understood why Chin Chu, such a cold person, became a slave to his daughters when he met the twins. It turned out that after becoming a father and having a daughter, the whole world was really bright. Rick was so happy that he couldn't sleep all night. In the latter half of the night, when Cece fell asleep, his eyes were still shining. Then he picked up his phone and called Chin Chu. Fortunately, Chin Chu was still awake. Ever since he returned from Yunnan, his insomnia seemed to have relapsed. Especially after knowing so much about the truth, he could hardly sleep. So the two men were chatting on the phone in the middle of the night. At first, they only talked about the children. Later, when Rick wanted to talk about something important, Chin Chu was afraid that someone was eavesdropping, so he directly interrupted him. Then she drove to South Side to look for him. It was already 2:30 at night. When Chin Chu came, he brought a lot of beer and snacks. "Do you want to have a drink with me?" Rick laughed. "You are happy today. Congratulations on becoming a father." Chin Chu's expression didn't change at all. "Well, since you said so, then I won't be polite. Let's go to the rooftop to drink?" Rick pointed to the rooftop. "No, it's too cold there. Let's go, I'll take you somewhere." Chin Chu walked in the front and Rick followed behind him. Chin Chu seemed to be very familiar with the roads at South Side. They came from the middle of the OB-GYN ward building. When they arrived at the neurology building at the end of the 5th floor, they arrived at a very cozy office door. Chin Chu stopped and took out the key he prepared in advance. He opened the door and walked in. A sense of familiarity rose in his heart. Rick froze for a moment, then he realized something. This is Huamin's office? Chapter 42:27. Chin Chu nodded and placed the things on the table. He sat down in the chair that Huamin often used. Rick pulled up a chair and sat across from Chin Chu. Huamin had left Southside long ago, so technically speaking, this office didn't belong to her anymore. But this office didn't seem to have changed at all. After Huamin left, no one came to work here. Everyone seemed to be waiting for Director Hua to come back. Chin Chu got the key from somewhere and sneaked in with Rick in the middle of the night. "Let's do this, okay? It'll be bad if someone finds out." Rick was quite worried that such an embarrassing situation would happen. "Don't worry. This place is mine now." "What do you mean?" Rick was puzzled. "I bought Southside." "Rick, why did you buy it?" Rick was confused. Chin Chu didn't lack money and had businesses in all kinds of industries. Why did he buy a hospital? "I was going to give it to Mion." "Fine. You're rich. You can do whatever you want." Rick laughed in anger. Chin Chu was rarely impulsive, but when he did, ordinary people couldn't understand his impulsiveness. "Call her now and tell her. She'll be happy." Rick didn't know that Huamin had been swapped, and Chin Chu didn't say much. "No rush. By the way, how's the investigation going? Do you have any news about Lu Yen?" Chin Chu changed the topic and asked about Lu Yen. "Not yet. Rumors are spreading that Lu Yen is dead and Xiao Fei took her place. After Xiao Fei took her place, he stopped taking orders and stopped taking any business. No one knows what he's doing in Lu Yan's nest. I heard that Xiao Fei's father was furious and thought his son betrayed the family. He won't let Xiao Fei return home. But people also say that the Xiao family doesn't have much to gain from the inheritance. Lu Yen is the big cake that can be squandered for the rest of her life. Xiao Fei doesn't care about that. What he cares about is whether Yen can come back safely." Chin Chu knew Xiao Fei better. Although they had only met a few times, he trusted his own judgment. "I don't think a man like Lu Yen would be so short-sighted and despicable. I just hope that we can get news of little Yen as soon as possible." "I need her," Chin Chu said. "Have you contacted your father-in-law?" Rick suddenly asked him. Chin Chu shook his head. "Have you chosen a name for your daughter?" "Yes, Jean, English name, Kristen." "Jean? Good name. You came up with it?" Chin Chu looked at Rick. "No, how could I be at this level? Cece gave it to me. Yes, it's very nice. Chu, don't think about it. I know you're sad. Rick didn't know how to comfort people, so he didn't know what to say. Okay, let's not talk about it. Come on, let's drink. Just like that, the two men ran to the office of the neurology director at Southside, which was Huamin's old room. Chu didn't buy a lot of alcohol, but maybe because he was in a bad mood, he was a little tipsy after 4 or 5 bottles. Rick was also a little dizzy. Cece woke up in the middle of the night and didn't see Rick, so she called him. So, he left. After Rick left, Chu lay on Huamin's desk and fell asleep. Then, he had a strange dream. Chapter 42:28. In his dream, he saw Huamian come back. She was wearing a white lab coat and black-rimmed glasses. Her hair was short, like the year when he first came back to China. She was holding a little boy's hand. Good boy, call me Daddy. The little boy looked at Chu and called him Daddy. Is this our child? He's still here, right? Mian, he's not dead. Excited, Chu reached out to touch the child's face, but the moment he touched it, the child disappeared. Then, Huamin's face disappeared as well. Mian. Chu woke up from his dream and looked around. He was still in his office, and there were empty wine bottles on the table. No one had appeared. Everything was just a dream. Chu stood up and wiped the tears from the corners of his eyes. Then he lowered his head and began to clean up the place, making it clean and tidy. If Huamian came back and knew she could go back to work, she would be pleasantly surprised. The next morning, after Xianxia went to work, Wang took Tian to Wei Liao's house. Wei Liao went to the company early. It was the weekend, so Jiang Xiaowei and the child got up late. When Wei Ying arrived, they hadn't had breakfast yet. Ying, you're here. Sis-in-law, I'm here for breakfast. Wei Ying smiled. You're welcome. Come on, Tian, call me Auntie. Hello, Auntie. Tian's mouth was covered in honey. Jiang Xiaowei was stunned for a moment when she saw that the child had come as well. Then, she smiled immediately. Tian, you're here. I made children's sausages for Yunchu. It's delicious. Try it. Okay. Thank you, Auntie. Sis-in-law, where's my nephew? Wei Ying looked around but didn't see Wei Yunchu. He's taking a shower upstairs. He's taking a shower so early in the morning? Yeah. He takes a shower and washes his hair every weekend? He's very clean, better than your second brother. Jiang Xiaowei busied herself. The maids also started to clean up. Wei Liao's house was decorated in a typical American style. It wasn't as luxurious, but it was very romantic. It was Jiang Xiaowei's favorite style. Wei Ying also liked this place and came here often. Especially after her relationship with second brother had improved, she would bring Xianxia over for dinner from time to time. After a while, breakfast was ready. Jiang Xiaowei was about to go upstairs to call her son. She saw Wei Yunchu coming down from upstairs. He was only wearing a blue children's bathrobe. His hair didn't seem to be completely dry. It was still standing up, looking cool. My little nephew is so handsome today. Wei Ying stood up and ran up to Wei Yunchu, hugging him in her arms. Aunt, why are you here so early today? I'm freeloading off your breakfast. Wei Ying chuckled. Yes, our breakfast is indeed sumptuous. You are very wise. Hi, you little brat. You seem to have gotten heavier. Wei Ying liked Wei Yunchu as much as Qi Ning liked the twins. She treated him as her own child from the bottom of her heart. Her eyes were full of love and affection. At this moment, Wei Yunchu noticed that there was another guest in the house. He glanced at Tian. Wei Ying immediately introduced her. Yunchu, Tian is on vacation and doesn't have any playmates. You two can play together more often. Auntie will be happy. Wei Yunchu didn't speak. Instead, he turned his head and glanced at Jiang Xiaowei. Mom, can we eat now? I'm so hungry. Chapter 42:29. Okay. It's ready. Come on, let's sit down. Jiang Xiaowei had been busy the whole morning, preparing a lot of delicious food with the help of the maid. Wei Ying knew she could have a delicious breakfast, so she woke up in the morning. She drove Tian here. Ling and Tian Tian sat on the right while Jiang Shaowei and Wei Yunchu sat on the left. On the table was a dazzling variety of breakfast dishes, both Chinese and Western. Jiang Shaowei stuck out a grilled sausage with a fork and put it on Tian Tian's plate. "Come on, try my cooking." "Thank you, Auntie. It looks super delicious. Can I take a picture and post it on my WeChat moments?" Tian Tian looked obedient. In fact, Jiang Shaowei didn't like the child because she was afraid of her mother. Tian Tian had experienced so much at such a young age and was so attentive to Wei Ying. She would grow up to be a scheming bitch. But Jiang Shaowei liked Wei Ying. After all, Wei Ying was her sister-in-law. She loved Wei Yunchu very much, so for Wei Ying's sake, Jiang Shaowei accepted the child on the surface. "Take a picture." "Thank you, Auntie." Tian Tian took a picture with her cell phone. Wei Yunchu glanced at her cell phone and then at his aunt. "Her cell phone is the latest model. Did you buy it for her, Auntie? Why? Do you want it too?" "I'm just asking. Tian Tian's phone was broken when she was in school. I bought her a new one. This model is new, so I don't really know how to use it. But Tian Tian said that the resolution is good. Big nephew, Auntie will buy you a new one later." "I don't want it. Mine is good." After saying that, Wei Yunchu lowered his head and ate without saying a word. "Sister-in-law, do you have any plans today? If not, can we go to the hot springs in the suburbs?" "Not today. Yunchu has to go to South Hill Manor. He promised to hang out with Pudding and Little Bean. Boyan seems to be going too, I see." Wei Ying looked troubled. "Mom, Wei Ying, it's okay. We'll play with Yunchu another day. Today we can go to the hot spring and post pictures of Dad." "All right." Wei Ying thought Tian Tian was very sensible and knew how to read the mood of an adult. Why didn't Wei Ying ask her sister-in-law to go to South Hill Manor? He knew about the grudge between Hui Yanyan and Hui Min. Also, he heard that the twins had been kidnapped once, and it was more or less related to Tian Tian. Therefore, in order not to embarrass her child, she did not take the initiative to say that she wanted to join in the fun. After dinner, Wei Yunchu video called Pudding. "Wei Yunchu, Pudding, I've had breakfast. I'll be there in a bit. Do you want to buy some dog food for your golden retriever?" "Pudding, no, my daddy bought a lot for it. It can't even finish it." "Wei Yunchu, is there anything else you need? My mom and I will be passing by Dagwang department store." "Pudding, no, we have everything at home. Come with us. We'll have hot pot for lunch. My grandparents prepared a lot of fresh ingredients for us." Wei Yunchu, great. It's a happy day to eat hot pot in this cold weather. They were chatting happily when, suddenly, Tian walked out from behind Wei Yunchu. "Yunchu, do you want a lollipop? I brought it back from the capital. It's a brand we don't have here. It's delicious." Seeing Tian Tian behind Wei Yunchu, Pudding's expression changed subtly. Chapter 42:30. I don't want it. Wei Yunchu turned his head and refused coldly. "It's really delicious. Try it, Brother Yunchu." The way she called him Brother Yunchu melted his bones. Was she doing it on purpose? "I don't want it. By the way, I'm in the middle of a video call. Can you stay away from me?" Wei Yunchu turned his head and looked at Tian Tian. "Sorry to disturb you." Looking aggrieved, Tian Tian left the screen. When Wei Yunchu turned his head, he saw Pudding had hung up the phone. Helpless, he sent a WeChat message to explain. "Wei Yunchu, Pudding, don't you know how to do business?" "Pudding, why is she in your house?" "It's early in the morning." "Wei Yunchu, my auntie brought her here for breakfast." "Pudding, okay." "Wei Yunchu, I don't know her well." "Pudding, no. She called you Brother Yunchu?" Pudding looked like she didn't believe it. "Wei Yunchu, she's always like that. She talks to everyone in a coquettish voice, including my mom." "Pudding, then she's really something." "Wei Yunchu, so let's not be mad at her, okay?" "Pudding, I don't want to be mad at her. See you later." "Wei Yunchu, see you later." Seeing that Pudding didn't take it to heart, Wei Yunchu heaved a sigh of relief. But he hated his auntie's daughter. He didn't like this type of girl at all. After breakfast, Wei Ying drove Tian Tian to a hot spring in the suburbs. Jiang Xiaowei took her son to South Hill Manor. On the way, the mother and son talked in a strange way. Wei Yunchu, Mom. Jiang Xiaowei, what? Wei Yunchu, what do you think of my auntie? Jiang Xiaowei, what do you mean? Wei Yunchu, her IQ and EQ. Jiang Xiaowei, she's average. Very average. Wei Yunchu, why do I think her IQ is low? Jiang Xiaowei, son, why do you say that? Wei Yunchu, don't you think the kid she brought here is very scheming? Jiang Xiaowei, I think so. What? You noticed it too? Wei Yunchu, it's obvious that Zhang is a super green tea bitch when she grows up. I don't know why Auntie is so obsessed with her. Jiang Xiaowei, obviously, your aunt had no choice but to accept the child for your uncle's sake. You can't blame her for that. Wei Yunchu, uncle, why are you raising someone else's child? If you have money to spend, you can donate it to the orphanage. Jiang Xiaowei, that's their private matter. We can't interfere. What's wrong? Did Tian offend you? You seem to be targeting her? Wei Yunchu, no, I just don't have a good impression of her. I don't like her. I can't bring myself to like her at all. Jiang Xiaowei, you don't seem to like anyone else other than Pudding. Wei Yunchu blushed slightly. Mom, focus on driving. Safety first, Wei Yunchu said in a formal tone. Jiang Xiaowei, Huamin wasn't home, so Jiang Xiaowei left after dropping the kid off. Coincidentally, when she came out, she bumped into Zhu Lingling, who was also dropping Buyuan off. When they bumped into each other, they hit it off and went shopping together. Zhu Lingling's eyes lit up the moment she heard the word shopping. So they drove to the most famous luxury mall in the city. Zhu Lingling had left the house in a hurry this morning, so she only wore a sweater from an unknown brand and casual pants that she had bought from a Taobao store. It was precisely because of this unfashionable outfit that she was deeply despised by the salesgirls of luxury goods. At the Chanel bag counter, Zhu Lingling saw a new design and couldn't help but touch it. The salesgirl behind her quickly picked up a small towel and wiped the bag that Zhu Lingling had touched. Chapter 4231. When Zhu Lingling touched another bag, the saleswoman hurriedly continued to wipe the other one. In short, she would wipe whichever bag Zhu Lingling touched. Her face was cold and she didn't have any enthusiasm for customers. Actually, this was normal. The saleswomen of these luxury stores were very snobbish. They would size up the customers who came to buy things. They would receive them warmly when they saw that they were dressed in designer clothes. They would look cold when they saw that they were dressed ordinarily. After all, they couldn't afford it. Hey, I say, Jiang Xiaowei couldn't stand it anymore and wanted to teach the saleswoman a lesson. However, Zhu Lingling stopped her. She smiled and continued to touch the third bag, then the fourth. Finally, Zhu Lingling turned around and smiled at the salesgirl. Sorry to trouble you, Miss Salesgirl. Please wrap up all the bags that I touched just now. What? The woman thought that she had heard wrongly, so she asked again. Zhu Lingling was still smiling. You might understand better if I put it this way. Wrap up all the bags that you wiped just now. I want them all. The saleswoman turned around and glanced at the places that she had just wiped. There were at least 7 bags. Do you want 7? Do you want me to wrap them all up now? Yes, but I have a request, Zhu Lingling said. Please go ahead. The saleswoman was a little excited. Even though there were many rich people in this city, not many people would buy 7 bags at once. This was a huge order. It's these bags. Before you wrap them up, you have to wipe them properly. I see that you like to wipe bags. Zhu Lingling's words made the saleswoman's face turn red and she felt a little ashamed. She had looked down on Zhu Lingling and thought that she was a housewife who only looked and didn't buy. Therefore, not only was her attitude bad, but she also wiped whatever Zhu Lingling touched. This kind of behavior was discriminatory. Therefore, when Zhu Lingling retaliated, she was indeed speechless. Why aren't you saying anything? Is there a problem? If you don't agree, I might not buy it. No, I promise, madam. Don't worry, I'll help you wipe it down. Very good. Go ahead. Zhu Lingling bought 7 bags of different sizes from Chanel in one go, totaling up to 420,000 yuan. This was a very high fee. It should be known that Gao Rant's monthly salary was not much. Of course, Zhu Lingling didn't rely on her husband's salary. Zhu Lingling had been doing it all the time. Even taking care of the children didn't affect either of them. Moreover, Gao Rant's family was well off. When they got married, the Gao family had bought the car and the house for them. When Zhu Lingling gave birth to Gao Boyuan, her parents were very happy. In their joy, Zhu Lingling's mother-in-law bought 8 storefronts at once as a gift for her daughter-in-law. Therefore, Huamin once said to Zhu Lingling with a smile, "You're a landlady. You don't have to worry about food and clothing for the rest of your life. You can rent out 8 storefronts and you'll get more than 100,000 yuan a month." Therefore, although Zhu Lingling wasn't as rich as Jiang Shaowei and Huamin, she still had a lot of money. However, it was more than enough to buy 7 Chanel bags in one go. Even after they walked out of the store, Jiang Shaowei still felt that her anger had been vented. "Ha, Lingling, you were so awesome. I'm impressed by your methods. These snobs need to be taught a lesson. They think they're better than others by selling luxury goods. So, Mr. Zhu, what are we going to do now? Are you going to treat me to a big meal?" Jiang Shaowei laughed. "How about we go to the first hospital? We'll pack up and have lunch with me on," Zhu Lingling suggested. Chapter 42-32. No problem, let's go. Jiang Shaowei also thought this was a great idea. In order to make Huamin happy, the two of them went to a seafood restaurant. After packing a lot of fresh seafood, the two of them drove to the first hospital. Maybe it was because of the rumors, but there weren't many people in the first hospital. The two of them went straight to Huamin's room. When they opened the door, they were slightly surprised. Huamin wasn't in the room. Where did he go? The two of them looked around the room. "Are you looking for me?" A cold voice came from behind them. The two of them turned around and saw Huamin in a hospital gown. It was strange that Huamin had put on makeup, and it was very delicate. He didn't look like a patient at all. If he wasn't wearing a hospital gown, would he be a model on a runway show? Jiang Shaowei and Zhu Lingling turned around at the same time. When they saw Huamin's delicate makeup, they were a little dazed. Huamin wasn't good at makeup, so what was going on? "Damn, where did you go? I thought you were discharged. You scared me." Zhu Lingling ran over and punched Huamin. This kind of little fight between best friends was normal, but Zhu Lingling saw disgust in Huamin's eyes. "I wonder if it's just a misconception? I'm going out to get some fresh air." She didn't look very enthusiastic when she saw her two best friends. After saying this, she walked directly into the room. "I went shopping with Lingling. That spendthrift woman bought 7 Chanel bags in one go. Haha, Director Gao is going to retire from this job." Jiang Shaowei jokingly told her about her experience at the mall today. Zhu Lingling also thought of something. She took out one of them and handed it to Huamin. "Mian, this is for you. Think of it as a gift for your hospitalization. I bought a lot, and I can't use them all." On the way here, Zhu Lingling picked one for Jiang Shaowei. Although they weren't short of money, Zhu Lingling's kindness was heartwarming. She had a good eye for beauty. Although she had bought the bags in a fit of pique, they were all beautiful. Especially for Jiang Shaowei, it suited her temperament very well. Zhu Lingling thought that Huamin would be happy to accept the gift. After all, ever since she married Qin Chu, she rarely received gifts from Zhu Lingling since she was not short of money. However, Huamin only glanced at the bag and said indifferently, "This style has been available in France since half a year ago. It's not considered a new style, right?" Zhu Lingling felt slightly awkward when she heard Huamin's words. However, she still smiled. "Yeah, it's always been like this in China. After all, it's not the country of origin. I don't think this color suits me. You can put it away. I don't need a bag right now." Huamin didn't look like he was joking, but he rejected Zhu Lingling's kindness so easily. This not only made Zhu Lingling feel bad, it also made Jiang Shaowei feel very awkward. They didn't know what was wrong with Huamin. Jiang Shaowei quickly tried to smooth things over. "Mian, we came specially to have lunch with you. Hurry up and eat, we're starving." Oh, we've been shopping all morning and haven't eaten anything. Zhu Lingling and Jiang Shaowei opened the packed seafood one by one. They placed it on the coffee table in the ward and then sat around the sofa. Seafood? Huamin frowned slightly. Yeah, your favorite. Are you surprised? Zhu Lingling lowered her head and smiled as she opened the packaging. Don't you think the seafood stinks? It smells weird? Huamin asked them. Chapter 42-33. After Huamin said that, the two of them were dumbfounded. Jiang Shaowei and Zhu Lingling looked at each other, completely dumbfounded. It was true that Layla hated seafood. It was because she grew up in that damned place and came into contact with too many seafood. However, Huamin liked seafood. Therefore, her reaction was a little too extreme. She turned around and remembered that Huamin liked seafood. Therefore, she quickly filled in the gap. I used to love seafood, but this time, after this incident, my taste has changed. It's said that a woman's taste will change when she gives birth. Although I only induced labor, I changed a lot of my preferences. Mr. Qin can testify to that. So, sisters, you heard me right. I don't like seafood anymore. That's true. If I had known, I wouldn't have bought it. I didn't expect you to not like seafood anymore. Obviously, Zhu Lingling believed her and felt a little regretful. It's okay. Let's order something else or go to the hospital's cafeteria, Jiang Shaowei suggested. Forget it, you two don't have to busy yourselves. You two can have a bite. I'm not hungry, so I won't eat. Zhu Lingling, Jiang Shaowei, I'm a little tired. I want to sleep. Then, we'll come and see you later, Thmin. Huamin said that he was tired and chased Zhu Lingling and Jiang Shaowei out. The two of them had nowhere to go with a bag of seafood. They could only find an empty seat in the hospital's cafeteria and sit down. Then they ate the packed food. That way, it wouldn't be a waste. In the hospital cafeteria. Mian, you're acting weird today. Something's wrong. Jiang Shaowei looked worried. I know what's going on, Zhu Lingling said mysteriously. You know. Jiang Shaowei looked up in surprise. Yeah, look at this. Zhu Lingling picked up her phone and opened her WeChat moments to show Jiang Shaowei a post. It was the happy news of Cici giving birth. We didn't even know that Cici had given birth. We'll go check it out later. Shaowei, that's not the point. The point is Cici gave birth, but Mian had a miscarriage. They were actually pregnant at about the same time. If Mian didn't have a miscarriage, that child would have been born soon. So you're saying? Jiang Shaowei began to understand what Zhu Lingling meant. Yeah, I think Huamian must have been traumatized. She can't get over it, especially after Cici gave birth. Look at how weird she was today. She didn't want to eat seafood and didn't want to talk to us. That baby was Huamian's heart. She carried it for so long. No one would be able to take it if they lost it all of a sudden. She's been focusing on her health these days, but the hurt in her heart isn't something that can be healed so quickly. Yes, Lingling, you're right. Mian is also a pitiful person. As best friends, let's be more considerate. After all, times have changed. Yes. Zhu Lingling and Jiang Shaowei didn't think too much about it. It happened at the same time as Cici's birth. They naively thought that Huamin was just in a bad mood and was traumatized. Of course, they didn't know that Huamin was no longer their good friend Huamin. On the other side of the earth, inside the underwater palace, Huamin looked at the man in the crystal coffin in shock. Huasiqian, with one word from you, I can bring him back to life. He won't die. He'll still be Huasiqian, the man who's willing to go through fire and water for you. Lin Ya's voice was irresistible. Chapter 42-34. This condition was too tempting for Huamin. Because Huasiqian died for her, Huamin had always been sad. If there was a chance to resurrect him, then Huamin seemed to have seen the man who liked to wear pink suits, call Mian sister, and smile with crescent-shaped eyes. If he was still alive, if he could continue to live, Huamin didn't dare to think about it. This was a really extravagant wish. Finally, Huamin's brain gradually cooled down and returned to its original calmness and wit. She looked at Huasiqian in the crystal coffin and then at Lin Ya. So, he's also a clone, right? That's right. My cloning technology is already very mature. As long as there's something from the original body, whether it's blood, cells, or even a hair, I can restore it. It's just that the degree of restoration is different. The more important something is, the closer it will be to the original body. Wuxia had been with Layla for so long, so we have all the things on him. It can be said that once we clone Wuxia, it will be exactly the same as the original body. Another advantage is that he will be Wuxia. He won't have a split personality or the part of Jack. Huamin was silent. Mian, you should know how Wuxia's split personality came about, right? Linya asked her this question. It's related to his childhood experience. In fact, Huamin had studied it deeply with Jiang Shaowei. Jiang Shaowei was a psychologist and a very authoritative psychologist. Therefore, her analysis was very well-founded. Basically, people with split personalities had been strongly stimulated and subconsciously avoided it, resulting in such terrible consequences. The gentle and elegant Wuxia split into a sadistic Jack. Without a doubt, it was caused by Jiang Hong, Wuxia's adoptive mother. That woman had been married for many years, but she didn't give birth to a child for Hu Jinghai. Therefore, she adopted a son from her biological sister. However, Jiang Hong didn't treat this son well. Instead, she vented her dissatisfaction with life and resentment towards Hu Jinghai on the child. At such a young age, his body couldn't withstand the abuse of his adoptive mother. Therefore, his personality gradually split, creating a demon that could go against the world. Huamin knew all this. It was precisely because of this that even though Wuxia had done many evil things, Hu couldn't hate him. There was a time when Wuxia was in prison. Huamian had been wondering if she should kill him. If he didn't kill Wuxia with his personality, he would never live his life in prison again. He would definitely have other methods, or join forces with Ian Nalo to do more hateful things. If he killed him, Huamin would feel uneasy. After all, he was so good to her. In the end, Huamin still killed him. However, at that time, Wuxia was rescued by Layla's people. Her thoughts slowly returned to her. Linya nodded. That's right. Actually, this child is quite pitiful. Mian, he's good to you. I think he's much more loyal to you than your husband. As long as you're willing, as long as you nod, I can immediately clone him. You can treat him as the original owner, because he'll have all of Wuxia's memories, and he'll love you as deeply as before. Are you willing? What's your condition? Huamin slowly asked. Chapter 42-35. Condition? Child, you're thinking too much. You're my daughter. Just treat it as a gift from your mother. It's not a condition. As long as you agree, I can help you realize it. Things that you can't even dream of in this lifetime. I can even clone the dead for you. Hearing this, Huamin suddenly thought of Uncle Jing. So, you also clone Jingda? You mean 002? Of course. 002. Huamin was confused. 002 is the code name I gave him. I had someone take a blood sample from Jingda's medical records and reconstruct it. After Linya admitted it, Huamin finally understood why he couldn't figure out why Jingda had the same genes as Uncle Jing. He and Jixin were father and son, so he couldn't figure out what was going on. Now, it seemed that the truth was out. Jingda was cloned from Uncle Jing's own blood sample. No wonder it was perfect. Then what's your purpose? Why did you do it? Was it fun? Huamin looked at Linya coldly and questioned her. Of course, I'm not doing it for fun. I just want to see what kind of reaction my test subject will have when it enters the market. Not bad, he's even more flexible than the original host. Unfortunately, he's already been killed by your man. Huamin was slightly surprised. He was tortured to death by your man. So, Mian, the man you love is just a beast in disguise. Then, Linya waved her hand and the crystal coffin on the wall disappeared without a trace. It was replaced by the image of Qin Chu torturing Jingda to death. She couldn't hear what they were saying. However, she saw the movements clearly. Qin Chu killed Jingda and burned his body. After watching the video, Linya thought Huamin would be disappointed and pained, unable to accept Qin Chu's cruelty. But after watching it, she smiled. She smiled calmly. Mian, did you see his face? You're wrong. He recognized that your 002 is a monster, so he did that. I'm afraid he already saw through Layla's identity and knew that I was switched. That's absolutely impossible. Don't even think about it. Layla has been in there for more than half a month. What are you thinking? Mian, are you trying to hypnotize yourself that nothing happened between Layla and your man? How is that possible? A man and a woman alone in a room. Besides, Layla has the same face as you. Linya was certain that Layla would settle Qin Chu and sleep on the same bed, so she kept provoking Huamin with words. All right, we'll do whatever you say. Hee. Huamin was too lazy to argue with Linya, but Huamin knew that with Qin Chu's character, he wouldn't do it easily. If he did it to Jingde, it could only mean that he had discovered a secret. Maybe Qin Chu already knew that there was an imposter at home. At this thought, Huamin was thrilled. Mian, trust me. I'm willing to do anything for you, then let me go and get rid of that psycho Layla. I'll take you as my mother. Huamin was smart enough to not be brainwashed by Linya after such a long time. You're in such a hurry to go back. What's the point of staying with a group of mortals in that home? You're a genius. You're my daughter. So, it's glorious for me to conquer the world with you? Huamin's eyes were sharp. Chapter 4236. Mian, what's wrong with this place? You can make a lot of interesting people with me. At least I can bring the dead back to life. This is something that no one else can do, not even your father. Linya was obviously proud of her cloning technology. Dr. Linya, may I ask what's the normal lifespan of a human? Huamin asked a biological question. Linya didn't know why Huamian asked this question, but she still answered in a good-natured manner. Baby, that's not a problem for me. It's my strength. So far, the longest lifespan in the world has been certified by the Guinness World Records. It's a village woman in South Africa. Her name is Malik Timo. She was born in 1874 and died in 2008. Her lifespan was 134 years. Huamin nodded. Very good. That means that the limit of a human's lifespan is 134 years. And you, Dr. Linya, you're delusional enough to keep cloning after a person dies. Isn't this a great technology? Linya was a little excited. In my opinion, this is an invention that goes against humanity and the heavens. The 6 paths of reincarnation and following the will of heaven is the right path. The natural world has its normal rules. We're just a species in nature, so are fish and birds. So, don't try to go against the heavens and change anything. You'll suffer retribution. My dear great Dr. Linya, when you made these successful experiments, did you find their fatal flaws? Huamin's words made Linya's expression change slightly. She didn't need to answer. Her expression told him. You don't have to say it, but I already know the answer. I advise you not to do too many things that go against the heavens. From birth to death, everything should follow the rules of nature. Don't try to change anything. So, Mia, don't you want to save your friend, Huasiqian? Do you want him to disappear from your memory forever? Do you want him to be a pile of human flesh in the end? Linya repeatedly provoked Huamin's weakness. She wanted to use Huasiqian to persuade Huamin. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, Dr. Linya, I don't need him to be resurrected. Strictly speaking, this isn't a resurrection. There will only be one real Huasiqian. He's dead, but I'll remember him in my heart. Even if you resurrect him now, he's just a substitute. No matter how similar he is, it's not the real him. I believe he doesn't want that either. He needs peace after death. I advise you not to create monsters that resurrect the dead. Huamin's words deeply shocked Linya. Huamin thought that Linya might fly into a rage after hearing what she said. But she didn't. She didn't say anything for a long time. Then he shouted, Messiah. My lord, please give your orders. I'm a little tired. Take her down. After Huamin left, Linya sat alone on the chair with her head in her hands, looking a little complicated. Not long after, Messiah returned to report. Linya pointed at the dumplings on the table. Cook the dumplings I made and send them to her. Yes, master. Messiah carefully picked up the dumplings on the table. Linya said in a low voice, Messiah, she is indeed a different child. She is indeed talented and smart, and she has a lot of ideas. She is someone who can do great things. It means that Master has good genes. She's the most like me, isn't she? Linya smiled slightly. Chapter 4237. Yes, Miss Mion is very similar to Master. Yes, that's why I like her the most. Only she can help me succeed. I look forward to the day when Master's wish is fulfilled. Messiah knelt on one knee and placed her palm on her chest. She had been with Linya for the longest time and seemed to know what Linya's goal was. Messiah carried the steaming dumplings to Huamin's room. Huamin was pacing back and forth in the room, thinking about some questions he couldn't figure out. Miss Mion. Messiah. Master asked me to bring these to you. Master made them herself. With that, Messiah placed a plate of steaming dumplings on the table. Huamin glanced at the dumplings and didn't say anything. Miss Mion, your health is more important now. Do you have a child? It's better not to sulk. It won't do you any good to anger Master. I know I won't. I'll eat well. I still want to go home. I want to go home safely and see my family. Huamin took out his poison testing utensils. After testing them and finding nothing strange, he sat down and ate in peace. He had to admit that Linya's dumplings were really delicious. Although they didn't taste the same as Yang Meirong's, they were still very delicious. Huamin had been here for a long time and this was the first time he had a big appetite. Miss Mion, Master actually loves you very much. You said it, Messiah. You said that she made that monster Layla because she missed me, Messiah. So she loves Layla very much too, right? At this thought, Huamin felt a little jealous. He couldn't understand why his own mother missed him but didn't come to see him. Instead, she made a monster like him to express her longing for her daughter. What kind of logic was that? Messiah said faintly, actually, Master doesn't treat Miss Layla well. Their relationship is more like that of a superior and subordinate. Miss Layla is very afraid of Master. She never dares to call Master Mommy. She's always called her Master like us. Hearing this, Huamin's hand paused slightly, as if this sentence had touched her. I'm not lying to you. It's true, Miss Mion. Even if it's real, so what? Don't think that I can acknowledge her as my mother just because she made dumplings for me and helped me revive a few people. In my opinion, this is too strange. No mother in the world would lock up their pregnant daughter and let an imposter go to her house and turn it upside down. If my family, my husband, and my daughter are hurt in the slightest by Layla, I think I won't forgive her in this life, the next life, or even the life after that. Huamin spoke very seriously. There was something wet in his eyes. She really couldn't love this mother of hers. What she wanted to do most now was to go home and see her beloved family. Messiah didn't say anything. After all, she grew up in a different background. It was understandable that Miss Mion didn't accept everything here. In Sea City, China. Daddy, hurry and help us. Little Bean called Qin Chu while crying. Qin Chu was on his way home. What's wrong? Little Bean? Mommy doesn't want us to go to Tokyo with Handsome Sue. She suddenly changed her mind. But Handsome Sue has already booked the plane ticket. My sister and I don't want to miss it. Please help me. On the phone, Little Bean cried bitterly. Qin Chu's heart ached when he heard this. Baby, don't cry. Daddy will be home soon. Chapter 4238. On the way home, Qin Chu was obviously unhappy. It must be this imposter who made his sweetheart cry again. When they got home, sure enough, Mr. Qin and Mama Qin couldn't get a word in and could only watch their daughter-in-law scold their granddaughter. Little Bean was crying and Pudding was also unhappy. However, she didn't cry and just lowered her head. Daddy, you're back? Seeing Qin Chu come back, Little Bean ran over as if she saw her savior and hugged Qin Chu's leg. Heartbroken, Qin Chu squatted down and wiped away Little Bean's tears. Don't cry. Daddy's here. Seeing Qin Chu come back, Huamin smiled. Honey, you're finally back. You can be the judge. The two of them insisted on going to Tokyo with Su-yu for more than a week. Chin-chu held Little Bean in his arms and slowly stood up. Then, he glanced at Huamin's face coldly. Didn't you agree to this before? Chin-chu questioned her. Yes, I agreed to it before. But I thought they would only be back in 2 days, Huamin explained. What's the difference between 2 days and a week? Chin-chu continued to look at her. Of course, 2 days is fine. They can go and come back quickly. But a week is so long. If something happens to them there, I'll be worried. After all, they got lost in the States before. I'm worried. You don't trust Su-yu? Chin-chu continued to question her. Of course not. I just think that Su-yu has to take care of the two of them. What if he gets distracted? So, you broke your promise and didn't let them go. Do you know that Su-yu booked the plane tickets and hotel? Don't you think it's too much for you to break your promise? You ruined the children's plan and let Su-yu down. The reproach in Chin-chu's tone was obvious. Mion is doing this for the baby. Don't be so agitated. Speak properly. Perhaps even Mama Chin could tell that her son's tone was not very good. She was afraid that her daughter-in-law would be angry, so she quickly came out to smooth things over. Yeah, Chu, you and Mion should talk things over. Don't scare the kids. Dad, Mom, take Pudding and Little Bean upstairs. I need to talk to her. Please note that Chin-chu used the word her and not Mion. Subconsciously, he began to avoid calling this imposter Mion because she didn't deserve it. You two, have a good discussion. Before Chin-chu's father went upstairs, he still reminded him worriedly. She sent away the old man and the child, as well as the servants in the living room. In the end, only the two of them were left. If it weren't for the multiple factors, Chin-chu really wanted to take out his pistol and shoot this perverted woman. However, he endured it. After all, his Mion might still be in their hands. Honey, it's just not letting the children go to Japan. Is there a need to make such a big fuss? Huamin smiled. This isn't a matter of whether the children are children or not. It's a matter of credibility. You promised before, but now you're changing your mind. Don't you think it's a slap in the face? How can it be a slap in the face with my own children? Don't I have the right to discipline my own children? Huamin, or rather, Layla, snorted and went against Chin-chu. Don't confuse us. This isn't a matter of whether you have the right or not. The point is that as an adult, if you break your promise, how can you set an example for the children? Chin-chu glanced at the familiar face indifferently and continued to talk about parenting. Chapter 4239. Then, Mr. Chin, do you have a better idea? The way she called him Mr. Chin completely disgusted Chin-chu. Because she wasn't Huamin, she didn't sound natural when she called him Mr. Chin. Chin-chu felt that it was pretentious and disgusting. Chin-chu didn't say anything. Seeing that Chin-chu didn't speak, Huamin continued, How about this? Pudding and Little Bean are our children. We won't let them go alone with Su-yu. No matter how good Su-yu is, he's not their biological father. Why don't we go with them? Finally, Layla told him her purpose. I don't have time. It was true. Chin-chu was really busy. There were a lot of things to deal with recently. Bella was unconscious, his mother-in-law was sick, and Jixin was busy running around. Gao Ran was still working on the missing persons case, and Chin-chu was really exhausted from work and life. Wasn't it a joke to ask him to take a week off to go to Japan for a vacation? I knew you would say that. Since you don't have time, I'll go by myself. I have time. So you want to say that you want to go to Japan with Su-yu and the two kids? Chin-chu stared at her. What else? You don't have time even if I asked you to go. She spread out her hands innocently. Do you think it's appropriate? Chin-chu asked her. What's wrong with it? Huamin asked back. You and Su-yu are so close that you can go to Japan together and spend 7 days alone with him? Chin-chu was obviously very unhappy. Not alone. Didn't I say that I'll go with Pudding and Little Bean? Don't take it out of context, okay? Little Bean and Pudding are still young. How can the four of you go together? To outsiders, it's a family of four. Chin-chu suppressed his anger. So you're jealous, my Mr. Chin? Chin-chu remained silent. I can't do this and I can't do that. What do you want? Huamin crossed his arms in a provocative manner. I won't agree to your proposal. I didn't expect you to be such a petty man. Ha, Chu glanced at her and said, this has nothing to do with being narrow-minded. What you're doing is ridiculous. Even if I believe you, will the media believe you? I don't want my child to see his mother and Su Yu's scandal on the headlines. You'd better give up. If you don't agree with me going, then the trip to Japan will be cancelled. I won't let Su Yu take our child alone. Japan is so chaotic. What if the Yamaguchi-gumi colludes with Ian and the others, and they do something to the child? Then if you go, won't Yamaguchi-gumi take action? Do you think you are Lu Yen? You can fight against thousands of soldiers and horses. Qin Chu was furious. Of course, he wasn't angry at Huamin. He was angry at the impostor. If it were Huamin, he wouldn't do that. Thousands of soldiers and horses? Even Lu Yen can't fight thousands of soldiers and horses. Don't talk to me about these useless things. Anyways, if I don't go, no one will go. Huamin insisted that he wanted to stir up trouble. If Qin Chu didn't agree to him going, he wouldn't let Su Yu take the child either. You're so selfish. Aren't you afraid that the child will be disappointed in you? Qin Chu looked into her eyes and asked word by word. Chapter 4240. Don't worry. They're still young. When they grow up, they'll understand mommy's good intentions. Do as you wish. Qin Chu didn't want to talk to this woman anymore, so he went upstairs. Huamin followed him shamelessly. When they reached the kid's room, he pretended to smile lovingly. Little Bean, Pudding, it's not that mommy didn't want you to go. It's your daddy who wanted to interfere. You can't blame me. Hearing this, Little Bean burst into tears. Daddy, I want to go to Japan. I really want to go to Disneyland. Pudding didn't say anything, but when she looked at her mother, her eyes were filled with disgust. What's going on? What did you two talk about? Why are you making the kids cry? Qin Chu's mother loved her granddaughter very much. Seeing Little Bean cry, she couldn't stand it. She looked at Qin Chu and Huamin reproachfully. Ask your good son. Then Huamin turned around and went back to his bedroom, slamming the door. Chu, Mom, go back to your room with Dad. I have something to say to Little Bean and Pudding. You're not allowed to scold the kids. Do you hear me? Qin Chu's father was a little angry and warned his son. Don't worry. Seeing Qin Chu's reassurance, Mr. Qin and Mama Qin left with peace of mind. Little Bean was still crying. After all, she was still a child. If someone told her something she had been looking forward to for a long time, it wouldn't come true. The disappointment, the grievance, and the sadness all came out in an instant. She couldn't control it. In just a short while, her eyes were red from crying. Pudding was also a little disappointed. She sat by the bed, holding the phone in her hand and refusing to speak. Qin Chu closed the door and picked up Little Bean and Pudding. On his thighs, babies, do you think Daddy loves you? Yes, the sisters said in unison. Then do you love Daddy? Of course. The two ladies answered in unison. Then if Daddy says, I'm saying, I don't want you to go to Japan late this time, will you be sad? Yes. Little Bean's voice was very small, and there were still tears in her eyes. Pudding didn't answer. You have to go to Japan, right? If Uncle Su doesn't have time, can I get someone else to play with you? Others? Little Bean and Pudding were stunned. It's like this. Uncle Su Yu has some important things to do. As for you two, Daddy can help you apply for leave. Not only can you go to Japan, but you can also go to America and Europe. Really? Daddy, can I stop going to school? Little Bean stopped crying when she heard her daddy's words. Then, she held her daddy's face excitedly and questioned him in disbelief. So, Daddy, who's going to take us there? Pudding asked. How are Aunt Qin Ning and Uncle Tang Chuan? Wow, really? Little Bean shrieked in excitement. In fact, children didn't care about who would take them to play. As long as they could play, they would be happy. So as long as their daddy agreed, Su Yu couldn't take them, but Qin Ning could. Daddy, is what you said true? Pudding obviously didn't believe it. You can also go to America with Aunt Qin-ning to see second grandpa. There's also Disneyland in America. How long is Daddy going to give us? Little Bean couldn't wait any longer. Chapter 42-41. How about a month? Qin-chu thought for a moment and then blurted out. Well, Daddy, I love you. She couldn't suppress her excitement and kissed Qin-chu on the cheek. Pudding also smiled happily. Daddy, we don't have to go to school anymore. In fact, for the two genius sisters, going to school was really a torture. After all, they had finished a lot of courses. In the face of the old-fashioned China education system, they had to study non-stop and do tests. It had become very mechanical. The two of them didn't like this way of life. If it wasn't for Huamin, they would have left. In fact, Qin-chu had wanted to send the twins abroad for a long time. Studying in the United States would make their childhood easier. They thought they could go for a week, but now they heard from their daddy that they could take a month off. The twins' emotions were like a roller coaster ride, with ups and downs. Now that they had reached a climax, they were extremely excited. Children were children after all. When they were happy, when they were unhappy, everything was written on their faces. Even the mature little Pudding wasn't spared. When she heard that she could take a month off, she smiled proudly. So, do you agree to go on a trip with Aunt Qin-ning? Qin-chu asked for his daughter's opinion again. Yes, the twins were overjoyed. Of course, they were happy to go on a trip with their aunt. Qin-ning loved the two children very much and treated them like a daughter. After the discussion, Qin-chu coaxed the children to sleep. Then he glanced at the bedroom light. It was already turned off. He went downstairs. Sir, are you going out to find Madam? The maid at the door asked. Did she go out? Yes, Madam went out 10 minutes ago. She drove away. Okay, I got it. Qin-chu nodded. He didn't think it was strange. It would be strange if this woman stayed at home every day. Qin-chu didn't chase after her. Instead, he drove his own car and went directly to Tang Chuan's mansion. It was already 8 o'clock in the evening. Tang Chuan and Qin-ning were curled up on the sofa watching TV. Recently, Qin-ning was addicted to a variety show and enjoyed watching it. Ever since Tang Chuan had Qin-ning, he had become an otaku. Other than going to work and accompanying his wife, he hardly went anywhere. He would only go out to drink when Su Yu and Wei Liao were on the phone. Qin-ning wore a white cotton nightgown and rested her head on Tang Chuan's lap. She watched TV while eating potato chips. This strong woman had completely turned into a delicate little girl. Tang Chuan saw that Qin-ning was looking at him so seriously, and his hands began to move under her nightgown. What are you doing? Qin-ning slapped his careless hand away. Ning-ning, do you want to do something else? Tang Chuan smirked. Do what? Qin-ning didn't know how to react. She was, after all, an innocent little girl, unlike Tang Chuan, who was so experienced. It's to do something that can improve our intimacy, you know. As he spoke, Tang Chuan's hand mischievously squeezed. Qin-ning immediately understood and her cheeks turned red. You're so shameless. Tang Chuan, why are you so perverted? It's not perverted to my wife. It's called legally satisfying my biological needs. Ning-ning, you haven't done it with me for 3 days. Tang Chuan looked aggrieved, like a wronged wife. Damn it, you still have the nerve to say that? It's only been 3 days. Qin-ning felt that her waist was still sore after the last time. 3 days is a long time for me. No, I can't take it anymore. I'm going to eat you. Tang Chuan fell down and pressed Qin-ning under his body. He wanted to do a reality show on the sofa. However, at this moment, the doorbell rang. Ding dong. Chapter 42-42. Who is it? Get up and open the door. Qin-ning quickly tidied up her messy collar. I won't open the door. No matter who it is, I won't open it. Wait until we're done. Tang Chuan lowered his head and naughtily bit Qin-ning's lips. Hurry up. What's the rush? It's going to take a long time. Qin-ning angrily kicked Tang Chuan off the sofa. He almost fell to the ground. Seeing that the little princess had spoken, Tang Chuan reluctantly walked over to open the door. He muttered, "Fuck, if it were someone from my company, I would definitely deduct half a year's bonus. You ruined my mood." However, when he opened the door and saw who it was, Tang Chuan froze. "Brother-in-law, why are you here?" Ever since he got together with Qin Ning, Tang Chuan respected Qin Chu more and more. After all, Qin Ning loved her brother very much, so he didn't dare to act rashly. Is Ning Ning home?" Qin Chu still looked cold. Yes, come in and talk." "Brother-in-law, it's cold outside." Tang Chuan, who always liked to flatter, quickly welcomed Qin Chu in. In fact, he felt a little strange. Qin Chu had almost never come to his private mansion. This was the first time. Something important must have happened, otherwise, he wouldn't have come so late at night. "Brother, why are you here?" Qin Ning was also surprised to see Qin Chu. Qin Chu didn't say anything and only nodded. "Tang Chuan, get my brother something to drink." Qin Ning quickly got up and greeted Qin Chu. "Brother-in-law, what do you want to drink? Coke with ice?" Tang Chuan didn't know Qin Chu's preferences, so he could only guess. "No, my brother drinks tea. Don't we have pu-er at home? Go make some tea." Tang Chuan did not dare to be careless. He quickly boiled water and made tea. Qin Chu sat down on the sofa. Qin Ning turned around and said, "Brother, have a seat first. I'll go wash some fruits for you." "Ning, don't bother. I'll leave in a while. Sit down. I have something to tell you." "All right." Seeing her brother's serious attitude, Qin Ning didn't dare to be negligent. After he explained his intention, Qin Ning was a little surprised. "Brother, this 1 month, don't you miss the 2 little ones? I have something important to deal with this month. If they're not at home, I won't be distracted easily. You're with Tang Chuan, so I don't have to worry. He's smart, and he's good at fighting. I'll bring 4 bodyguards with me. When you arrive in America, Rick's men will protect you. Anyway, be careful." "Brother, did something happen at home?" Qin Ning thought that if her brother could take the kids away for a month to deal with something, it must be a big deal. "It's nothing, just some trivial matters." "Don't worry." "Then I'll leave now. Can you handle things at the company?" "Bella is sick, and Jixin is at the hospital. You don't have anyone at the company." Qin Ning cared about her brother, so she had been helping him at the company. "Don't worry about the company. It's just a small matter. I know what to do." "Then K." Qin Ning nodded. Qin Chu took out a black diamond card from his pocket. "There's 10 million here. Take it first. The 4 of you can take it as a long trip and enjoy it. If it's not enough, let me know." "Brother, what are you doing? We're family, why are you being so polite with me?" Qin Ning glanced at the black card but didn't reach out to take it. Chapter 42-43. It's because we're family that we don't have to be so polite. That's why I can give you more. Qin Chu smiled gently and looked at his beloved sister. "Big brother, I have money. I have a lot of money." Qin Ning's personal wealth was also shocking. Although it wasn't as exaggerated as Lu Yan's, it was still easy for her to have more than 100 million yuan in her bank account. "I know. What's yours is yours. This is from Big Brother. Just take it." "Big Brother, are you okay? Why do I feel like you're hiding something from us?" Qin Ning looked at Qin Chu nervously. "No, it's just that they want to go to Japan with Suyu. I don't think there's much to play in Japan, so I thought it's almost winter vacation and I don't have time to take them out. I'm busy with work and don't have time to take them out. They're bored out of their minds." "Okay, it's best if it's nothing. Big Brother, don't worry. I'll take good care of my nieces." "Okay, be careful when you're outside. Keep a low profile." "I know." "As for Tang Chuan, you should talk to him." "Okay, I'll tell him. I've booked the plane tickets for tomorrow night. I'll drive you to the airport." "You're in such a hurry?" Qin Ning froze again at the mention of tomorrow night. "Yeah, it's good to leave early. Pudding and Little Bean can't wait." Okay. Then I'll hurry up and pack tonight. If Dad knows I'm bringing Pudding and Little Bean back, he'll be very happy." "Okay, when you see second uncle, tell him to take care of his health." "Okay, my dad will be fine. Big brother, don't worry. Take good care of my sister-in-law at home. Hearing this, Chin Chu didn't respond. He looked at his watch and saw that it was getting late. He got up. Then I'll go first. You haven't drunk the tea yet? No, I have something to do. You and Tang Chuan should get ready. With that, Chin Chu walked out. When Tang Chuan boiled the water, made the tea, and came down with the teacups, Chin Chu was nowhere to be seen. Baby, where's brother-in-law? Let's go. What the fuck? Let's go. How am I supposed to make tea? Tang Chuan felt like his efforts were in vain. Take it down. I'll drink it. Qi Ning waved her hand. Hee alright. Baby, have a taste of my tea brewing skills. Tang Chuan leaned over and hugged Qi Ning's shoulders. Then, the two of them held their teacups and took small sips of the fragrant honey. Qi Ning said, Are you calling me? Tang Chuan thought he was hallucinating. My dear husband. Qi Ning said again. Cough cough, little ancestor. I'm not used to you being like this. Qi Ning always called him Tang Chuan, so when he heard Qi Ning calling him hubby and darling, he was a little confused. Honey, let's go on a trip. Sure, no problem. Tang Chuan agreed without hesitation. Then he thought of a popular song recently and sang it. I want to take you to romantic Turkey, then we'll go to Tokyo and Paris. In fact, I especially like Miami and Los Angeles with black people. Qi Ning immediately pinched her fingers and snapped them. Okay, it's decided. Huh? What did you decide? Tang Chuan was confused. This time, we'll go to Tokyo and Paris, Miami, and Los Angeles with my daddy. Qi Ning said. But, didn't we just come back from Los Angeles? Tang Chuan was a little confused. They had only been back for less than half a month, and they were going again? Did they really think Los Angeles was their home? Chapter 42-44. Yeah. But I still want to go. No, little ancestor. Calm down. Don't mess around. I'm not messing around. Do you really want to go? Yes, Tang Chuan. Qi Ning picked up the black card and placed it in Tang Chuan's hand. My brother gave me this. It's a travel fund of 10 million yuan. Brother-in-law, you're so particular. Tang Chuan smiled as he held the black card. My brother only has one request. What request? To take pudding and little bean, Tang Chuan. 10 minutes later, Qi Ning told Tang Chuan about her brother's request and patiently explained it to him. So the current situation is that we have to take the two little guys on a 1-month trip. You can say that. I see. What? Do you have a problem with that? Qi Ning questioned. No. I don't have a problem with that. I just think, brother-in-law is so strange. He's giving us so much money to take us away for such a long time. What's he going to do? My brother is always reliable. Don't worry. But since he left the kids in our care, we have to take good care of them. That's for sure. Even if you lose me, you can't lose those two ancestors. Tang Chuan chuckled. You're right. Qi Ning smiled deliberately. That's not right. I heard that Lord Su is going to take the two little guys to Tokyo. Tang Chuan suddenly remembered that Su Yu had mentioned it before. Obviously, the plan has changed. Does Lord Su know about it? Tang Chuan was a bit worried. That's not our concern. Since my brother made the arrangements, Lord Su must have taken care of it as well. But since brother-in-law is paying for it, let's play to our heart's content. Right. After Tang Chuan and Qi Ning made the arrangements, Qi Ning drove to Southside Recuperation Center. Cici was still in the hospital and Rick had been here all this time. When Qin Chu arrived, he first entered the ward to check on Cici and the baby out of courtesy. He even gave a generous gift, a piece of high-grade Xinjiang Hetian jade. It was a gift for Rick's daughter. It was bought by Qin Chu at an auction last month for 12 million yuan. The jade was transparent and of excellent quality. Both Cici and Rick were overjoyed. Qin Chu, as a friend, valued his good buddy and was happy to have a daughter. It could be seen that Rick also loved the child very much. He basically held the child in his arms and even fed the child himself. He was simply a super stay-at-home dad. After coaxing little Ajin to sleep, Rick left the room and went to a remote corridor in the hospital with Qin Chu. Have you decided to send the twins away first? Yes, when we get to America, you have to send more people to protect them. I'm afraid that Ian's people will play tricks, Xianxia said. Don't worry, the United States is my territory. That terrorist and his mafia brothers wouldn't dare to be so brazen. Yes, I'm assured with you in charge. What's next? Do you have any plans? Yes, I'm going to fight a tough battle. Xianxia took a puff of his cigarette. How can I help you? Not for now. Just take good care of Cece and the baby. I'll let you know if I need anything. Okay, be careful. Okay. The conversation between the two men was simple and concise, but it didn't affect their brotherhood at all. After talking to Rick for a while, Xianxia drove to the Municipal Public Security Bureau. The Municipal Public Security Bureau received another report, but this time, it wasn't a missing person. Chu, you're here at the right time. I'm going crazy. Come with me, I'll show you something. When Gao Ran saw Xianxia, he was very excited. He pulled him by the arm and walked straight to the forensic room. Chapter 42-45. Xianxia had come to talk to Gao Ran about the case, but Gao Ran pulled him directly into the forensic room. Of course, he couldn't enter casually. Fortunately, Gao Ran was powerful enough. Chief Gao. Inside, the forensic doctor and an assistant greeted Gao Ran. Xianxia looked at the corpse on the bed with a subtle look in his eyes. Fortunately, Xianxia was also a medical student and had strong psychological endurance. Gao Ran glanced at it and swallowed his saliva. As a police officer for many years, he had seen the world. He definitely couldn't vomit in front of outsiders. How embarrassing would that be? However, the corpse on the bed was really too horrible to look at. How is it? Gao Ran suppressed his nausea and glanced at the forensic doctor. The time of death is less than 3 hours. The murderer's method is extremely cruel. He must have used a weapon to tear the body apart. After the forensic doctor finished speaking, Xianxia glanced at the corpse again. It indeed looked like a ferocious beast had disemboweled it. It was a bloody scene. Where was the body found? Xianxia asked Gao Ran. In the southwest corner of Nanwan Park. Do you know that birch forest? Yes. That's the place. Who found it? Xianxia frowned. A young couple said that they were walking on the road in the park. Then they smelled a strong smell of blood. They went over to take a look. Do you know the cause of death? Xianxia looked at the forensic doctor. The forensic doctor obviously didn't dare to say more to Xianxia. Old son, this is my best friend. It's okay. Tell him. He'll keep it a secret, Gao Ran said. The forensic doctor nodded and looked at Xianxia and then at Gao Ran. So far, according to our analysis, the cause of his death is that the artery in his neck was cut open by a sharp object. That's why he's bleeding nonstop. But the strange thing is, we didn't find much blood at the scene. Chief Gao, can you investigate and see if there's an underground organization that resells blood? I don't think so. It's not worth much. Aren't all the human organs still there? The other parts are still there, but the heart is gone. The forensic doctor pointed at the corpse's chest with his tools. Gao Ran sucked in a breath of cold air. Could it really be those dark organizations that resell human organs? This method is too fucking cruel. When I catch him, I will definitely shoot him. Gao Ran couldn't take it anymore and cursed. Xianxia, on the other hand, was puzzled. He put on his white gloves and walked over. He walked up to the corpse and looked at the position of the heart that the forensic doctor had mentioned. Then he looked at the artery on the neck, and he walked back and said, Old Gao, let's talk somewhere else. All right. Then, Gao Ran and Xianxia walked out and went straight to Gao Ran's office. The young policeman poured 2 cups of coffee and came in. Gao Ran, on the other hand, wanted to vomit when he smelled the coffee. In the end, he couldn't help but rush to the bathroom and vomit. Then he walked out with a pale face. Chu, let me tell you, I've been a police officer for so many years, but I've never seen such a cruel murderer. He's not human at all. He's a beast. Look at how badly the corpse has been damaged. If a female police officer saw it, wouldn't she be scared out of her wits? Gao Ran complained helplessly. It's indeed very cruel. Qin Chu agreed with Gao Ran's point of view. You've also studied medicine and you've just seen the wounds on the corpse. What kind of weapon do you think the murderer used? Because the forensic doctor hadn't analyzed the murderer's weapon, Gao Ran was more inclined to ask Qin Chu, who had studied medicine, about the murderer's weapon. Chapter 42-46. Qin Chu had a complicated look in his eyes. He glanced at Gao Ran but didn't say anything. Why are you looking at me? Tell me. I'm afraid you won't be able to accept it. Nonsense. I'm a police officer. I've seen all kinds of cases. Tell me, I'll definitely accept it. Gao Ran felt that Qin Chu was making a big fuss over nothing. What did he mean by he couldn't accept it? He wasn't the kind of police officer who only knew how to sit in the office and drink tea. He was a bureau chief who had been through hundreds of battles and solved countless cases. I think the murder weapon was a fingernail. What? Gao Ran almost thought that there was something wrong with his ears and that he had misheard, so he said with uncertainty, What? I said, I think the murder weapon was a fingernail. Fingernail? Are you kidding me? Gao Ran was dumbfounded. You know me, old Gao. I never joke, especially in such a serious situation. I won't. The fingernail is too strong. The fingernail can tear a person to this extent. Do you think the murderer is a Siberian tiger or a Tibetan mastiff? Gao Ran felt that Qin Chu's conclusion was ridiculous and couldn't convince him. I took a look at the wound on the victim's neck. There was a tear mark. The wound was very deep and didn't look like it was made with a sharp tool, but it can't be a fingernail. How powerful would a fingernail have to be to do that? So the murderer is a psychopath? Gao Ran continued. A psychopath like an extraordinary person, Qin Chu concluded. A psychopath like an extraordinary person? What the hell is that? Let's put it this way, old Gao. I think the murderer is someone who has greater strength than an ordinary person or a unique skill. That's impossible. This isn't a movie. It's too mysterious. Why don't you just say superpower? Could it be an alien? Gao Ran felt that Qin Chu was overthinking things, so he didn't believe it at all. Qin Chu didn't say anything else. Besides, if it was a fingernail wound, how strong would a person be? Like a beast? Plus, we didn't find any traces of the murderer in the victim's flesh. If it was done by fingernails, there would be dandruff tissue inside. Chu, although you're a genius and a genius doctor, your conclusion is unscientific. Who's the victim's name? Did you find it? Qin Chu saw that Gao Ran didn't believe him, so he didn't say anything else. His name is Ji Changhe. He's 35 years old and unemployed. He makes a living by swindling and extorting people. He's addicted to gambling. He once had a wife, but they divorced. It's said that his wife married far away with their son. His parents live in the countryside of Mengqing County. He rents a bungalow in the slums. He pays 200 yuan a month, but the landlord says that he's been 3 months late in paying the rent. He doesn't want to leave even when he's chased away. He even said that he's going to burn down the house. None of the neighbors have anything to do with him. They all think of him as a malignant tumor. Then why would a man like him go to Nanwan Park so late at night? Qin Chu was curious. I find it strange too. My men investigated him and said that he had a hobby of swimming. The weather has been warmer recently, and some parts of the ice in Nanwan Park have melted. Many people go swimming in the winter, and this guy probably went swimming. Also, there was alcohol in his system, so he probably went swimming after drinking. Did he have any enemies when he was alive? Qin Chu continued to ask Gao Ran. Chapter 42-47. He has a lot of enemies. This kind of person likes to gamble and has poor social relations. He's the kind that's not welcomed anywhere. But I've investigated a lot of his enemies, such as people from the casino and people who lent him money. Everyone has alibis. These are not the most important. The most important thing is, the surveillance camera captured him swimming alone, and the surveillance camera in the park also captured that he didn't come into contact with anyone else. So he died for no reason, Qin Chu said in a declarative tone. How is that possible? I don't believe in ghosts killing people. Even if many people drowned in Nanwan Park and people wanted to catch a scapegoat, they wouldn't kill the body so cruelly and take out the heart and blood, right? This is obviously a premeditated suspect. He's extremely psychopathic and cruel. Most importantly, he died less than 3 hours ago, so that person can't have gone far. I've already asked my men to block the road and chase after him. I'm afraid they'll return empty-handed. What do you mean, Chu? You can't discourage me. As a citizen of our city, you have to support the police. I support you. I'm just stating a fact. What fact? That you can't catch the suspect at all. Chu, you're questioning my ability. Gao Ran was a little displeased. He didn't understand why Qin Chu was so sure that he couldn't catch the suspect. No, what I want to say is that the murderer has extraordinary abilities. You can't catch him. Damn it. Here you go again. You've watched too much Star Wars. Extraordinary people? How can there be so many extraordinary people? I don't want to talk to you anymore. Why did you come to me? If you want a drink, as you can see, I don't have time. I'm investigating a case. If you want to eat supper, I can't eat. Damn it. I almost threw up just now. I came to you. Forget it. It's okay. Seeing that Gao Ran didn't really believe in the idea of extraordinary people, Qin Chu didn't want to talk about it anymore. Are you okay? Gao Ran asked when he saw that Qin Chu didn't look too good. I'm fine. Continue with your work. Be careful. I'm going back now. Yes. Qin Chu drove straight back to South Hill Manor. When he returned, the maid was still wiping the floor in the living room. Sir is back. Is she back? Qin Chu asked. Oh, madam is back. When did you come back? About half an hour ago. All right, I got it. Qin Chu then went upstairs and walked to the bedroom door. Through the gap, he saw that the lights inside were still on. This proved that she was still awake. Qin Chu pushed the door open and entered. What he saw was Huamin in his pajamas. His hair was wet, as if he had just taken a shower. Hubby, you're back? Did you go out just now? Qin Chu asked her. Yeah, I drove your sports car out. She smiled. Where did you go? Are you so concerned about me now? Do I even have to report to you where I go? She continued to smile. I heard from Gao Ran that there was a murder in Nanwan Park, so I was worried that something might have happened to you. What a coincidence. I really just came back from Nanwan Park. She smiled eerily. Qin Chu's heart sank. He knew that everything that happened in Sea City after Jingda's death had something to do with her. What did you do there? I went to Nanwan Park to see the scenery. The woman gave a reason that even she couldn't believe. Everyone knew that Nanwan Park was a park in the slums. The scenery there wasn't beautiful, especially in winter, so there was nothing to see there. Her answer was an obvious provocation. Or did she think that Qin Chu was an idiot who didn't know anything? Chapter 42-48. In the end, Qin Chu only smiled with a complicated expression. How do you like the scenery? It's great. Okay, that's good. Go to sleep. Qin Chu turned around, closed the door, and left. Huamin seemed to be used to this frequency. He had been ignored for a long time. Qin Chu went straight into the study and immediately sent a WeChat message to Suyu. Maybe it was because it was inconvenient to call at home. Qin Chu, you there? Suyu, yeah. Qin Chu, I want to talk to you about something. Suyu, go ahead. Suyu was used to Qin Chu's coldness and reticence. Qin Chu, the trip to Japan is cancelled. Suyu, what do you mean? Qin Chu, Pudding and Little Bean won't go to Japan with you. Suyu, why? Qin Chu, because Mion said that she was afraid that you wouldn't be able to take care of the kids if they went with you alone. She wanted to go too, but I rejected her. Suyu, Mion did tell me about this, but I didn't agree. It's not good for my reputation. I can't go to Japan with her. What's going on? It doesn't sound good. Suyu remembered Huamin's unreasonable request in the hospital room that day and still felt a lingering fear. Qin Chu, Yes, so after weighing the pros and cons, I decided not to let Little Bean and Pudding go. Sue you, but they'll be very disappointed. I promised them a long time ago. I even booked the plane tickets and hotel. It'll be a pity if they don't go. Chin Chu, it's okay. There will be chances in the future. I'm sorry this time. Sue you, don't say that. You're in a difficult position too. I don't know what's wrong with Mion. She's been acting weird lately. Chin Chu, why do you say that? Sue you, I can't say for sure. It's just a feeling. Alright, go back to your work. I'm going out to eat something. Sue Yu didn't continue to talk about this topic, and Chin Chu didn't ask either. Sue Yu said that he was eating, but in fact, he was eating and drinking with a group of rich second-generation heirs. Recently, he had been feeling depressed, especially after he found out that Cici had given birth to a daughter and Rick was the father. A few of his friends, namely Wei Liao, Xiao Wei, Tang Chuan, and Qin Ning, were all talking about it. Now, he didn't know if it was because of Su Yu's shadow or something else, but as long as the child was mentioned, Su Yu would feel an inexplicable sense of guilt. The scene before the explosion in Yunnan kept appearing in his mind. Then, she recalled that Huamin's child was gone just like that. Then, she felt an indescribable sense of suffocation in her heart. Everyone knew that Cici's child was similar to Huamin's. Now, Rick was the father. Chin Chu and Huamin's relationship was extremely tense. He always felt that it was his fault, although he knew that everyone didn't want him to think that way. However, he still couldn't help but blame himself. Su Yu was a well-known bachelor. He had been single for several years. Other than it, there was no one else by his side. Therefore, after work, if he wasn't busy, he would be bored and empty. Thus, he began his days of indulging in debauchery. Coincidentally, ever since Tang Chuan had Qin Ning, he had become a good young man. Therefore, Su Yu couldn't find any confidence in the nightclub. He could only drink with the rich people to relieve his boredom, and was waiting outside. He knew what his president was thinking. A few rich people were famous for loving young models, so the nightclub manager walked in with a group of young models. No one dared to speak first. Lord Su, you choose first. In order to show Su Yu's nobility, everyone let Su Yu choose first. Su Yu narrowed his eyes, leaned against the sofa, and glanced. Chapter 42-49. Just as he was about to point casually and get away with it, suddenly, the door to the private room opened. President Su, Han Yueyao rushed in sportswear with a black MBL cap on her head. She looked very handsome. However, even though this young lady was good-looking and looked good in anything, it was really not suitable for her to wear sportswear to a nightclub. Everyone in the private room was dumbfounded. Isn't that Han Yueyao? Yeah, she's the new popular star of Imperial Star. She looks good in person. Yeah, look at how fair her hands are. She's pretty. Among these entertainment companies, only the female artists from Imperial Star are the prettiest. I prefer Nielingshuan's type. She's so gentle that you can squeeze water out of her. I like Jiantong's type. She's beautiful and cold. It must be fun to play with her. I'm different from you guys. I like Gao Yaruo, the captain of the trainees. Although she's not famous, she has a good figure and big breasts. I heard that she often does breast maintenance. She has the golden ratio. It must feel good to touch. In a place like this, it was normal to hear such dirty words. These rich second-generation heirs were all players, and none of them were honorable gentlemen. Therefore, the moment Han Yueyao entered, it was destined to be the highlight of the night. Han Yueyao ignored these people and approached Su Yu. President Su, why are you here? Su Yu was puzzled. I was afraid it would be awkward if you didn't have a companion. I'm here to accompany you. Before Su Yu could say anything, Han Yueyao sat down beside Su Yu. They were very close to each other, and people outside could see what was going on. Before Su Yu could speak, the rich second-generation heirs began to jeer. Lord Su, since you have a companion, why didn't you say so earlier? Let's pick first. As they spoke, several rich second-generation heirs picked a few young models with hot figures. Then they began to drink and sing. Who told you to come? Su Yu was puzzled. How did Han Yueyao know he was here? He didn't send her a WeChat message. Before she could speak, Su Yu said, and must have told him, right? No, I saw some paparazzi gossiping about you, so I came over. Paparazzi? Su Yu was speechless. President Su, if you don't want your reputation to be ruined, you should cooperate with me. After all, it's normal to have a scandal with your own female artist, but it's not good if you hang out with those girls. What do you think? In any case, he's an old man. Don't go overboard, okay? You're old. Su Yu touched his forehead, wanting to punch her since she was implying that he was old. What the hell are you doing? Han Yueyao? I'm not messing with you. I'm here to save you. To be exact, I'm here to save you. Thank you for your kindness, but I don't need you to save me. Don't you still have work tomorrow? Hurry up and go back. Su Yu asked her to leave. He didn't want such a clean girl like Han Yueyao to get involved in this nightclub. Subconsciously, he was doing it for her own good. If you leave, I'll leave. If you don't, I won't leave. Han Yueyao seemed to have made up her mind. You're playing with me, right? Su Yu laughed in exasperation. President Su, even if we're playing with women, can we play with tasteful women? I really despise you. Su Yu. Chapter 4250. Come on, when did I play with women? Which eye of yours saw it? Su Yu couldn't say anything about the pain in his heart. How dare you say you didn't? If I hadn't come in, you might have started choosing. Han Yueyao pouted as she pointed at the young models with hot figures. Shh. Keep your voice down. Su Yu was helpless. Don't you think so? Yes. Whatever you say is right. Su Yu didn't want to continue arguing with Han Yueyao. Then how long are you going to play? If you like to drink, I'll play with you. If you like to sing, I'll play with you. Then, Han Yueyao snatched the microphone from a man's hand. Then she shouted, Handsome, pick a song for me. Okay, Miss Han, what do you want to sing? The hottest ethnic style. The moment Han Yueyao said the title of the song, everyone was shocked. Su Yu almost stuck his head into the sofa. Before Han Yueyao could sing, Su Yu stood up, grabbed her arm, and walked out. Sorry everyone, I'll leave first. You guys continue. They walked to the corridor. Why are you leaving? I haven't sung yet. Han Yueyao smiled. Look at your smug face, how ugly. I won't play with you, okay? Don't continue to shock me. Look at you, you're a newly popular idol and goddess, but you don't care about your image at all. The hottest ethnic style, why don't you sing Counting Ducks? I want to sing. If you want to listen, I'll sing. Okay, that's enough. Stop fooling around. Go home. Su Yu knew Han Yueyao was here to cause trouble. So, he hurriedly urged her to go home. No, not unless you go home too. I'll go home. I don't believe you unless I go home with you. I'll go home after you fall asleep. Wait, Han Yueyao, what's wrong with you? Are you my mother? Why are you so controlling? Su Yu didn't know whether to laugh or cry. If you want to call her mom, I don't mind, but Auntie Su will definitely be upset. After all, she worked so hard to raise you. Fuck. Su Yu was speechless. Unlike Huamin, Han Yueyao was good at talking back. Huamin was sharp-tongued, while Han Yueyao was a joker. This made Su Yu feel embarrassed even if he wanted to fall out with her. Besides, I'm only 25 years old and don't have a son as old as you. Han Yueyao continued to smile. Stop fooling around. Let's go. Su Yu felt that it was not good to continue talking back here. If others saw it, they would think something was wrong. So, he simply pulled her out of the room, seeing his boss come out, and followed him out. Finally, Su Yu gave in and drove them back to Su Yu's mansion. It was already 11:30 p.m. when they arrived at Su Yu's villa. Okay, I'm going home. You should go home too. No, what if you go to those shady places after I leave? Shady places? Su Yu was speechless. Han Yueyao used shady places to describe those nightclubs, which showed how much she disliked those places. What? Am I wrong? Tell me. Han Yueyao asked, and to be the judge. I. And didn't dare to offend either side. In the end, he only said, President Su, we should avoid those places. Huh? Your health is more important. Chapter 4251. Damn it. Whose side are you on? Su Yu was furious that Mr. N had betrayed him and spoke up for Han Yueyao. Did you see that? Su Yu? The masses have sharp eyes. Okay, you're right. I'm going to sleep. Go to sleep. No way. You're going to supervise me? Su Yu was surprised. But I sleep naked. What a coincidence. So do I. Do you want to sleep together? Han Yueyao asked him with a grin. Su Yu, damn it. I'm impressed. I've never been impressed by anyone in all these years, but I'm impressed by you. Han Yueyao. You're so ruthless. Su Yu was completely speechless. How could Han Yueyao ask him to sleep naked together? Su Yu was at his wit's end. He wasn't thick-skinned enough to say those dirty words. So, was he being mercilessly teased by a little girl? Listening to them, and laughed so hard that he almost couldn't breathe. Furious, Su Yu turned around and went upstairs, throwing his jacket on the floor on the first floor. After Su Yu went upstairs, and turned around and gave Han Yueyao a thumbs up. Han Yueyao, thank you, about half an hour later, and went upstairs to bring Su Yu some medicine to sober him up and found that Su Yu had fallen asleep. Han Yueyao stood up. Then I'll go back too. I'll drive you. No. It's so late. You must be sleepy. I'll take a taxi. I'll book one with the app. No, it's too late. It's not safe. It's okay. There aren't so many evil things. Now that the app has a real name system, I booked a luxury car to pick me up. It's relatively safe. Go to sleep. Han Yueyao came from a grassroots background and knew that it wasn't easy for An. It was so late. If An drove her back, he would drive her back. It was about 30 to 40 kilometers from the Imperial Star Dormitory to Su Yu's mansion. It was also quite torturous, so no matter how much An expressed that he wanted to send her. Ignoring him, Han Yueyao stood up and walked out. Big Yao Yao, you came here today to get President Su back, right? Yeah, I don't like to see him drowning his sorrows and giving up on himself. I know that after Sister Mion's accident, he's been devastated, but he hasn't been able to find a way to vent. I know that. Yes, it's not easy for the boss either. I just hope that he can slowly walk out of this. Everything will get better. Su Yu is so good. He deserves a better life. At that moment, she smiled warmly, and suddenly felt that it would be great if the boss liked such a good girl. However, he wasn't the boss and the boss wouldn't listen to him. Big Yao Yao, you're a good girl. Keep it up, you'll become a big star. Forget about being a superstar. Earning more money is the way to go. The only way to solve my problems is to get rich. She made a V sign and went out. She got into the car she had booked online, worried that she might be in danger, and memorized the license plate number. Then he told her to send him a WeChat message when she arrived at the dormitory. There were always many stories in this world. For some people, you liked them and they liked you. For some people, you liked them, but they didn't know that you liked them. For some people, they knew that you liked them, but they didn't like you back. For Han Yueyao, she liked you, but she knew that you didn't like her. You liked someone else, but she was still willing to like you. That night, it was very dark, but Han Yueyao was so happy that she pulled Su Yu back from the nightclub. It was as if she had done a great charity. Su Yu, I'll protect you. I'll protect you forever, until the day we disappear from this world. Chapter 4252. At this moment, Lu Yan's nest, which was the island where Xiao Fei was dead silent. Not many people knew that the professor had come and was here as well. They only knew that their new boss, Xiao Fei, had never accepted any missions. He had been spending a lot of money to find Lu Yan. Those who suspected Xiao Fei of having ulterior motives were completely relieved. Perhaps no one in the world was more eager to find Lu Yan than Xiao Fei. Sitting in Lu Yan's office, Xiao Fei touched the ring on his finger. It's been so many days. Yan, where are you? Are you being controlled, or have you lost your memory and can't come home? Xiao Fei's heart was beyond anxious. Young Master Xiao. A subordinate came to report. Xiao Fei looked up. I call from Russia? No. But, the caller said. The subordinate didn't dare to finish his sentence at once. Xiao Fei lowered his head, his face cold. But the person who called said that he was your father. The man was a little worried and said this sentence cautiously. Xiao Fei still said, no. Ever since he announced that he would cut ties with his father and never inherit the family position, he really didn't plan to go back to Russia. He didn't care about being the biggest Russian mafia or the biggest arms dealer. Without Lu Yen, what was the use of money? What was the use of power? What was the use of the family position? All of these couldn't be exchanged for Lu Yen. After the subordinate left, the door was pushed open again. Didn't I say not to answer any calls from Russia? I don't want to have anything to do with them anymore. Xiao Fei's voice was so cold that it made people tremble. Fei, your father is doing this for your own good. A loving voice sounded. Xiao Fei looked up and stood up politely. Uncle Lu. Don't blame your father. He has his difficulties in his position. I can't understand him, just like he can never understand me. I don't blame him, but I don't want to listen to him. Xiao Fei was still stubborn. He always thought Yen was the instigator. If it weren't for Yen, you wouldn't? Before Professor Lu could finish, Xiao Fei interrupted him. It's not like that, Uncle Lu. Even without Yen, I would still leave him. My father's position really doesn't suit me. It's not what I want. Professor Lu nodded. He appreciated Xiao Fei's decisiveness. Uncle Lu, you've locked yourself up for 2 days. Have you thought of any important clues? Xiao Fei placed his last hope on Professor Lu. After all, in their eyes, the professor was omnipotent. I want to try my last resort. Professor Lu nodded. What? Xiao Fei asked expectantly. I want to go to the place where I first met Linya and see if I can find her. The place where you and Dr. Lin first met, where was that? Xiao Fei knew very little about Linya and Professor Lu. After all, even Lu Yen rarely mentioned them. Indonesia, Bali. Professor Lu smiled. His smile was gentle, but there was a hint of helplessness. If Dr. Linya was really still alive but avoided him, what did that mean? Professor Lu didn't seem to have a place in Dr. Linya's heart. This was a fatal blow to Professor Lu. Chapter 4253. Uncle Lu, did you meet each other in Bali? Xiao Fei was surprised. Lu Yen had never told him about her parents' past. Maybe even Lu Yen didn't know about it. Professor Lu nodded. Yeah, that time I went to Bali to study the active volcano of Agung in Bali to collect ore samples, and Linya was in Bali as a surveyor. At that time, Bali wasn't a famous international resort, and there weren't that many foreigners. Therefore, the two of us were easily attracted to each other. That's how we met. That's how the story came to be. Uncle Lu, it's a good thing that you want to visit the old place again. I'll send someone to protect you. Professor Lu waved his hand. Since I said I'm visiting the old place again, I'll be alone. Besides, I won't be in any danger. Linya won't do anything to me. It's not Dr. Lin. I'm afraid of... Ian, hearing Xiao Fei's words, Professor Lu chuckled. Little Fei, you don't have to worry about that. Not to mention Ian and his people, even the forces that wanted to capture me all these years won't dare to appear. Do you think they're not afraid of the Doomsday Death God? Doomsday Death God? Xiao Fei froze. He suddenly remembered that Qin Chu and Rick had found out that Mr. Y behind Zhao Qingya was from the Doomsday Death God. Later, Zhao Qingya and Mr. Y died without any evidence, and no one mentioned this mysterious and terrifying organization. But the Doomsday Death God had been around for so many years. How could it disappear just because of Mr. Y's death? It could only mean that Mr. Y was just the tip of the iceberg, a small fry. Now that Professor Lu mentioned the Doomsday Death God, Xiao Fei fell into deep thought. He knew Professor Lu wouldn't talk about unconfirmed rumors. Could it be, Fei, I have a feeling that the Doomsday Death God must be related to Linya. Maybe it's Linya's organization. Really? Xiao Fei was shocked. Lu Yan's mother, Professor Lu's wife, the medical genius, and the most beautiful woman in the Middle East. She had a beautiful face that could make people fall in love with her at first sight. How could it be related to the doomsday death god that struck fear in people's hearts? She was the founder of the organization? This turn of events caught Xiao Fei off guard. To be exact, he was not mentally prepared at all. I can't tell you the specifics yet. It's just a feeling. So, you're saying that wherever the Doomsday Reaper appears, even the FBI will have to stay away, right? Uncle Lu, if Dr. Lin Ye is really related to that organization, wouldn't it be extremely dangerous for you to go there? Is that all the more reason for me to send someone to protect you? Forget it. No matter how many people we send, it won't help. It will only alert the enemy. Don't worry, if it's really Lin Ye, she won't kill me. Professor Lu smiled again, but this smile was full of helplessness. Lu Yan's disappearance, Huamin's explosion, and her miscarriage were all fatal blows to Professor Lu. Finally, Professor Lu mysteriously left the island alone. After putting on a human skin mask and obtaining someone's fingerprints, he successfully left the country and flew directly to Bali, Indonesia. Bali had high temperatures all year round. It was only divided into rainy and dry seasons. Every year, from October to March, it was rainy and rainy. The day Professor Lu arrived in Bali, there was a thunderstorm. Because of his identity, he didn't stay in a 5-star hotel by the sea. Instead, he contacted a local private villa and chose to stay in a private villa near Ubud. This was Professor Lu's second visit to Bali after more than 20 years. He had a feeling that something important was waiting for him. Chapter 4254. The next morning, Professor Lu got up early, had a simple breakfast, and drove to the Holy Spring Temple. This was the place where he and Lin Ye first met. The Holy Spring Temple was a temple that the locals believed in. Bali was a place where Hindus believed in Buddhism, and every family had to worship Buddha. Many rich people even built temples in their own yards to tell the Buddha that they were safe. The Holy Spring Temple was the most famous temple, especially for its holy water. Many people came here to wash their faces and hair, hoping to get some luck. Perhaps it was because after Bali became an international tourist destination, it began to attract tourists. Almost every day, every month, every year, there were many tourists. Looking at the buses coming and going, and the faces of the Chinese people coming and going, Professor Lu had mixed feelings. He wore a sun hat and carried a backpack. Just like an ordinary tourist, he entered the Holy Spring Temple. Then, he looked at these familiar yet strange scenes and sketched out scenes of the past. He didn't know if his idea was right or not. There was no evidence that Lin Ye was still alive, or had she been resurrected. He thought for a few days and hundreds of possibilities, but in the end, he rejected them one by one, because he believed that Lin Ye still loved him. Even if she lied to him and hid it from him, she must have her reasons. That must be it. And he had a strong feeling in his heart that he would see Lin Ye again here. Looking at the most familiar holy spring water in the Holy Spring Temple, he took out his phone and wanted to take a picture, to record this beautiful moment. Suddenly, a group of tourists interrupted him. A male tourist rudely knocked the phone in Professor Lu's hand, and it fell to the ground. He didn't even say sorry. Professor Lu quietly bent down, lowered his head, and picked it up. However, he found that a pair of beautiful jade-like hands had already picked up his phone before he could. Then, she reached out and handed it to him. "Thank you," Professor Lu said in English. "You're welcome." As soon as the woman spoke, Professor Lu's whole body froze. His hand holding the phone trembled slightly. Then he slowly raised his head. At that moment, his heart seemed to have stopped beating. Lin Ye appeared in front of him without any warning. She was alive and standing in front of him. Professor Lu gasped. Then he wanted to say something, but he was so emotional that he didn't know what to say. His eyes were filled with sparkling and translucent tears. This old man in his 50s was like a child at this moment. He was so excited that he didn't know what to do. He had fantasized countless times about meeting Lin Ye when she woke up. However, none of them were as unpredictable as today's situation. He thought that it would take a long time for Lin Ye to come. But he hadn't expected that on the first day he arrived, he would meet him in the Holy Spring Temple. Everything felt like a dream. After a long time, Professor Lu forced out 2 words. As soon as he spoke, his voice didn't seem to be his own. It was so absent-minded. "Old Lu, long time no see." Linya smiled with a sweet smile. Her smile was still so beautiful. She was wearing a Balinese long dress with a ribbon tied around her waist. Her long hair fell to her waist, and there was a beautiful forehead ornament on her forehead in the shape of a deep blue water droplet. It was extremely beautiful. Her voice and her appearance were the same as many years ago, as if time couldn't cause any damage to her. Linya was still so young and beautiful, but the professor was already white-haired. Chapter 4255. Yeah, long time no see. We really haven't seen each other for many years. Professor Lu finally couldn't hold it in anymore. A tear rolled down his cheek. Linya raised her hand and wiped his tears. "Don't cry, I'm back." The words "I'm back" melted Professor Lu's heart again. He didn't care about his image or the gazes of others and hugged Linya. More than 20 years ago, they first met here. Now that so many years had passed, he was reunited with Linya here. Professor Lu only had one thought in his mind. As long as Linya was alive, as long as she was alive and well, he didn't dare to do anything. Nothing else mattered. It really didn't matter. Then, Professor Lu got into Linya's car. Linya drove him back to a very remote and secluded private villa area. It was called a private villa area because it was too big. It was practically a manor. Birds chirped and flowers bloomed inside. It was very beautiful, like a palace. "This is..." Professor Lu was curious. "This is one of my properties. I bought it." Professor Lu didn't say anything and followed Linya all the way to the beautiful villa. Then, he sat on the sofa in the living room. The maid placed fruits and coconut juice on the coffee table. Professor Lu didn't seem to be interested in everything around him. He looked at Linya's familiar face and felt a mix of emotions. Or rather, he was touched. "You're still so young. I can't believe it." Professor Lu clearly felt that Linya's young face was definitely not due to injections or plastic surgery. It was a very natural, young, and supernatural appearance. It wasn't the result of artificial maintenance. Linya smiled and didn't answer the question. Instead, she asked, "Old Lu, have you been well all these years?" "Not very well. I've been living in hiding." Linya didn't say anything, so Professor Lu asked again, "What about you? When did you wake up? Why didn't you look for me?" After hearing this, Linya's eyes became a little complicated. She slowly reached out her hand and placed it on the back of Professor Lu's hand. The temperature from the back of his hand wasn't warm. It was cold. "Old Lu, there are many things that I don't know how to tell you or explain to you. In short, it's not something that can be explained in a few words." "It's fine. Let's talk about it slowly. We have plenty of time." Professor Lu held her hand. "It's great to be able to see you again, Xiaoya. I used to think that because of my incompetence, I wouldn't be able to find a way to revive you, and I might not be able to see you again until the day I die." Professor Lu's heart was filled with shock. "How could that be? Am I not standing in front of you now?" Linya smiled. "Yes, it's like a dream. I can't believe it. Old Lu, have something to drink first? Relax, we'll talk. I'm afraid you'll disappear again." Professor Lu held Linya's hand tightly and refused to let go. Or rather, he was reluctant to let go. I won't disappear. Don't worry, drink some coconut juice. I remember you used to like it the most. This is freshly squeezed coconut juice. It tastes really good." Linya picked up a cup and took a sip before handing it to Professor Lu. It was as if to prove that this thing was drinkable and not poisonous. Professor Lu took the coconut juice. Before he drank it, he suddenly asked Linya a question, catching her off guard. "Xiaoya, Xiao Yan is in your hands, right? You're tuning in to the Wang Lin's Journey YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.